Hello and welcome to the Blue Wolf channel. Our goal is to make life better for anybody that watches any of this. Be it for money, be it for health, be it for cooking, just about anything that we have life experience in, we're going to share with you and try to make your life better.
All right, today we're going to try making beef jerky again. I'm also going to try out a brand new Ozark Trail 6-inch fillet knife because the silver skin on beef is just a bear to get off. None of my other knives are doing it, so I'm going to try a fillet knife. But you know how it goes. This is our starting point for the beef jerky. This is a 3.3 pound top sirloin roast, and this one is a 2.4 pound top sirloin roast. All right, just got done cleaning up the roast to get ready to make beef jerky. I have to say, this new knife, a little shapy Ozark Trail 6-inch fillet knife, works better for taking off the silver skin and the marbling than, well, let's just say I've got an expensive set by a German guy that tends to host a lot of Oscar parties. And their knives didn't do crap for me the last time I did this. This brand new fillet knife, though, looking good. Got the meat from Fairway. This front roast right here didn't need a lot of trimming. The second one was actually bigger, but I had to disassemble quite a bit just for the fact that it had some rather thick marbling in the middle of it. And that's awesome for making a roast, but it's not so good for jerky. So I had to take a couple muscles off, trim it all up. It's looking good now. And I'm about to wrap these up, put them in the freezer for a while so they firm up, and then I'm going to start slicing using a slicer. All right, this is the food slicer I'm going to be using after that meat firms up. It's not quite professional grade. I've got a cheaper plastic one that works pretty good too. I figured I'd just use this one because it looks nicer and easier on the camera. Anyway, it's only got a few pieces to it. It's got this thing that goes on here to force your meat up against there, and you just run that across here to cut your slices. And it looks like I'm going to have to oil this thing a little bit. And then on the back side, it has got this knob right here that adjusts the depth of the cut. So you can see that it's starting to get wider there. That's all it does. But it sets and keeps it kind of even. And I will get back when the meat is firm and we can actually cut. Alright, it's been about a half an hour of the meat being in the freezer. It's firmed up a little bit. It is by no means hard. I don't want it frozen. I just want it a little easier to work with than when it's room temperature. In that time, I went ahead and made a marinade.
Okay, in the original version of this video, I just glossed over the marinade, but one of the people close to me that really enjoys this beef jerky pointed out that the marinade's a pretty important part, so I decided to revisit it and give you my base recipe and why I do particular things. This recipe is for 2 pounds of beef. Do the math more or less. The recipe is actually on the screen right now, and I'll put it up again at the end of the video. I start with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 3 tablespoons of liquid smoke, which is a little bit more than most people like, but I like the taste of that, so I go there. A lot of recipes call for brown sugar or just sugar or whatnot. I prefer to go a little bit more natural with honey, but honey is just not as sweet as sugar, so I bump it up a little bit and get 3 tablespoons instead of 2 that most recipes call for. Again, another thing that most recipes call for is some coarsely ground black pepper. That works fine, but for me it's a judgment call. I plant a garden every year, and I generally have more peppers than I can use, so I end up dehydrating them and ground them up for spices to use just for things like this. In the recipe for the video that you're watching right now, I actually used about 1.5 teaspoons of serrano pepper, and after having tasted it, I wished I had used 2. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder is also the base, but that's another judgment call. I usually, depending on my time constraints, I mean, if I'm trying to do this in a hurry, garlic powder works fine. But if I'm doing this just because I'm cathartic and I'm in the kitchen, then I'm going to go to the extra work and crush some cloves of garlic and use that instead. Again, another judgment call. If you're trying to just make beef jerky in a hurry, the powder works. If you just enjoy cooking, go the extra couple steps. Same again with the 1 teaspoon of onion powder. If you're in a hurry, go there. Fresh is better, but it is more work. And again, I have a bumper crop out of my garden almost every year. I've got frozen or dehydrated onions, leeks, bunch onions, sweet onions, whatever. I have all them handy, and I will either use what I've ground up or take whatever's fresh and chop them up and add them to the marinade. But be careful to, scrape them off the beef when you throw them on the dehydrator, because, well, they probably taste just fine. It's just a different texture. And another one, I just never make ground cumin. I know how. It's just more work than it's worth. I like ground cumin straight out of the package, so I take that. Again, all of this is judgment calls, and you can add anything else that you'd like to this process. Some people like more salt. I don't need that much salt. It depends on your personal tastes. Basically, anything that won't spoil and will dehydrate works. So try the base recipe and adjust to your liking.
Anyway, so now all I got to do is plug this thing in and get started. I'll show you what the first couple look like, and then we'll take a break and I'll finish it off. Got to plug it in. Put the meat carriage down. Grab a hunk of the roast. And there's multiple schools of thought on how to cut it, whether it should be with the grain or across the grain. Being a roast, there's multiple muscles in here, so it goes multiple different ways. So I'm going to try and go across the grain as best as I can, but there's no guarantee on that. And it's not like a uniform shaped piece of meat either, so it'll take just a second or two to get it adjusted, and we'll get going. I'm eyeballing roughly a 1/4 inch. Push, bring it back, just like you see at the grocery store. Push, bring it back, but you see, because it's not exactly firm, I have to adjust it every once in a while. Anyway, keep doing that. And this is what comes out the other side. Nice thin slice of meat, ready to go. And I'll come back when we're done. Alright, and there you have about 5 pounds of top sirloin roast cut up into beef jerky, just shy of 1/4 inch pieces. Of course, when you get towards the edges and the uniform sizes, you can have some oddball stuff like that, but I guess they call that bill tag or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's pretty good any which way. So next step is to cover it in the marinade, mix it up a bit, and then put it in a Ziploc bag and let it sit for a day. So I'll let you see that when I'm done. Alright, and here's the nearly finished product. 5 pounds of beef jerky marinating in a Ziploc bag, but just in case, it goes inside a large mixing bowl in case this thing happens to leak. Don't want to get freaking raw beef juice all over the refrigerator. So anyway, tomorrow I'll go ahead and put it in either the dehydrator or the smoker. I haven't decided which way I want to dry it out yet, but that's where we're at for now, other than to clean up, and nobody wants to watch me do dishes. So see you tomorrow. Alright, it's been roughly 24 hours since I put all that sliced roast into a marinade to make beef jerky. I just got done traying it up in my handy dandy Ronco dehydrator with no working parts, or moving parts I should say. Every tray is full like that, plus I've got enough meat still left in the bag to do about like 3 more trays. Big slices, because it's big roast. That's fine, I like it that way. Anyway, I'm guessing because of the volume of meat and how much of this is, it's going to be at least a day and a half, maybe 2 days before this is ready to go. But I'll check back with you when it is. Alright, it's been about 2 days, and I had to do 3 more trays, like I said, just to get the last of the beef jerky in, but it is done now. I'll weight it. Started out with just a little over 5 pounds of fresh roast, and now I've got 1.8 pounds of not completely dry, but just normal beef jerky. Anyway, I tasted it. It's pretty good. I'll go ahead and post the marinade recipe at the end of the video, and appreciate you watching. Thanks.
Thank you for watching this video from the Blue Wolf channel. If you enjoyed your content and want to see more, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Thank you. Good day.